Mabetuna, I know this is not the background that you signed up for. It's not the background that you're used to, but we currently have to work with what we have, and this is not the me you are used to seeing. But I just wanted to record this message quickly before I start procrastinating about it and eventually just, put it aside and not do it. It's been a while, man, since I've been on here. It's been a while. It's been a long, long while. A lot has happened. A lot has happened between the last time I showed up on here and now. That a lot needs a separate YouTube video on it, which I don't know when I will do, because nalena angiboni ukuthi itaba yenze. It's just a quick something that I would like to share. The importance of forgiving yourself as a person and just being kind, man, to yourself. I've been a victim of being so hard on myself, and this thing, you never really feel it as it happens, especially as bantwana bakaNkulunkulu who grow up hearing these things. For some reason, we tend to believe that they are a reality for us as well, whereas they are not. It only kicks in much later when you speak to a person, or as you reflect to say, I think I might be too harsh on myself. And usually it's a natural response to whatever situation that we regret putting ourselves into, or whatever thing or action that we regret taking. It's a natural response to think to yourself and say, no, Sizo, that was so stupid of you. Especially when you now have to live the consequences, knowing that it's something that could have been avoided, knowing that it's something that could have not happened if you made the right choice, or rather you made a wiser decision, or if you had known better. I think that's the best way to, I'm still trying to learn to speak kindly, man. Speak kindly even to you. So it takes a while for you to actually settle and find peace within yourself to say, you know what, it has happened, and let me just learn from my mistakes. I think I've once preached about this in one of my YouTube videos. Let me just learn from this mistake and just make progress, with in my life. Because the things that happen in our lives are never random, and they're never what's the word I'm looking for? They're never just a coincidence. They're never just a coincidence. Everything, I believe, that happens in a person's life in this world generally is never just a coincidence. So whatever it is that thing has come to do in your life, just take it and run with it. If it's there to teach you a lesson, or if it was there to teach you a lesson, just grab that lesson and move on with it. If it was there to give you some form of experience, just grab that, move along, and not dwell much on it, right? This is one of the reasons why we are a depressed generation, but also it's not a reason to avoid accountability within yourself. You do have to acknowledge if you messed up. It's important that you acknowledge that you messed up. But after acknowledging, there isn't much you can do about it. It has happened, move on. Because dwelling much on it deteriorates yourself. It changes the image that you have of yourself. It makes you start, ill-treating yourself, blaming yourself. It just becomes a chain of a whole lot of things. Becomes a chain of a whole lot of things, and because of that, you eventually become that person that um your mind creates because of how you think of yourself, because of how you speak to yourself, because of how you haven't forgiven yourself so many times in so many instances, such that now you start holding back at some point. Sigcina sesiza sikhiphe amagama lathi ke vele mina ngiyehluleka, or vele mina kuyangehlula lento, or words along those lines. Then you can imagine ukuthi how far has that thing gone kuze ukuthi umuva agcina akhiphe lamagama lafana nalawo. Let me also just give a bit of context. Maybe a person or two can relate from this whole thing that I'm trying to put out. Yeah, so I'm a perfectionist. I'd like to believe every single thing or step or action or whatever that I take, usually 99.9% of the time, 0.01% being human error, is calculated. I calculate every single move that I intend to make before I step out of the house, as I wake up, as I eat, as I move around. I calculate such that even the words that I speak, I intensively think about them and the consequences and how it can be interpreted. Even if it's a text, go WhatsApp, if I feel like this can have a negative connotation, I quickly just edit. That's how much of a perfectionist I am. And I pray, man. I pray and just surrender everything to God before I do it. And because of that, I usually have that mindset to say, no, I can't fail, which is a good thing. It's a good thing to have faith and be positive. But now, we don't always have control over the things that happen, no matter how much of a perfectionist you are, no matter how much you can calculate your steps, no matter how much you try to put everything in the palm of your hands, you just can't have everything under control all the time. So if things then don't go the way that you would have loved them to go, maybe because of something that you could have done different, or maybe because of things just not turning out the way that you would have wanted, or maybe people letting you down, or whatever happening. But today I'm just talking about, personally, you being kind to yourself and having to forgive yourself. So when that happens, you tend to now start beating yourself up. What exactly did I miss? You go back to the drawing board. Musi, I thought I had done this and this and this and this. Where exactly did everything go wrong? How did I get here? What just happened? And then because of that, perfectionists usually are overthinkers as well. Because of that, now there's a lot of thoughts that start creeping in. There's a lot, especially if it happens more than once or consecutively. You just then get overwhelmed by everything. You just feel like there's nothing going right. Everything you plan just falls off, or whatever, and then you feel like the problem is with you, like there's something wrong with you. It then becomes difficult to live with yourself if, when you try to go back to the drawing board, you see, oh, there's the mistake that I made, and now that you've seen the mistake, you feel like, ish, why didn't you see this before it happened? I think overthinkers will be able to relate. I'm not making sense, but I am making sense, because what I'm saying is from experience, and it's something that I live with and I'm trying to work on. It's a reality basically for me. So you see the mistake, there's the loophole, and then now you start thinking, so why didn't I see this? How stupid can I be? This and that. I should have known better and whatnot. Especially if the consequences are massive. So you then start beating yourself up, living with regrets, this and that. And it takes time for you to settle and to say, man, this depression that I am living in is actually myself that I'm putting my life into, because I refused to just learn from my previous mistake or learn from my past experience and just move on. I'm constantly just moving in circles, thinking about what I did wrong, thinking about the past, thinking of what I could have done better. Hey, man. The phrase "if only" should not exist in our lives. A phrase that can make you the most miserable person alive on this earth. So let's just acknowledge past experiences, learn from them, and just keep it moving. Keep it moving. There's so much more that we are yet to live for, that we have to live for. There's a book that I am currently reading, suggested by a friend of mine. It talks about living in compartments, in what tight daytime compartments or something like that. So the aspect of forgiving, okay, wait, let me just first explain what that means. So what it means is that they just tried to create a visual picture to illustrate this. The illustration was, imagine a metal curtain or elevator doors rather, closing up behind you to shut out every past experience that has happened, and all the yesterdays, everything, the good times. Okay, good times are nice, but yesterday's everything. That is how the writer put it. And then imagine another one in front of you, closing up the unborn realities of the future or tomorrow, and you being between these two metal doors, living within the space that you are currently at. So forgiveness in this context comes in because if you are able to shut out what happened yesterday, then you have absolutely no reason to be beating yourself up for things that happened in the past, because you're currently so focused and invested in what is happening now, the blessings that you currently have, and letting tomorrow's problems see themselves. Oh, I struggle with that, man. I struggle with that because I want to know, God, when I move from this house and go to that gate and open it, what will I find outside? Will I reach that place safely? This and that. I want to know each and every single detail. Like, I want to know. I want to plan. I want to have my steps calculated. I want to know. Yet, even the Bible tells us to let tomorrow worry about itself. Just forget about the worries of tomorrow and forget about the things of the past and live in the current moment. So I might have mentioned a thing or two about what I'm talking about in my previous videos, but I felt the need to come on here and talk about it again because I just felt the need, and the need could be anything. It might be conviction, it might be a sign. So I just decided to take up my camera and shoot this. So it's something that I'm trying to work on. Hey, I want to know everything. Tell me what is going to happen, when, how, why. The logistics, I want them here so that when it happens, I'm ready, I'm prepared. Yet that is close to impossible, and because of that, you find yourself nearly stressed 90% of the time. So let's just live in the moment. Let's just let go and let God And let's just, be kind to ourselves. Be kind to ourselves, because it's this thing of being harsh on ourselves that make us harsh towards other people as well. Because how can you extend a love that you do not live in, that you do not breed from within you? So, advice, take it.